Mi Retiro by Dr. Jose Rizal, an English translation. By the spreading beach where the sands are soft and fine, at the foot of the mount in its mantle of green, I have built my hut in the pleasant groves confine. From the forest, seeking peace and a calmness divine, rest for the weary brain and silence to my sorrow keen. Its roof of the frail palm leaf, and its floor the cane, its beams and posts of the unhewn wood. Little there is of value in this hut so plain, and better by far in the lap of the mount to have lain, by the song and the murmur of the high sea's flood. A purling brook from the woodland glade drops down o'er the stones and around it sweeps, whence a fresh stream is drawn by the rough cane's aid, that in the still night its murmur has made, and in the day's heat a crystal fountain leaps. When the sky is serene, how gently it flows, and its zither unseen ceaselessly plays. But when the rain falls, a torrent it goes, boiling and foaming through the rocky close, roaring unchecked to the sea's wide waste. The howl of the dog and the song of the bird, and only the callous hoar's call resound, nor is the voice of a vain man to be heard, my mind to harass or my steps to begird. The woodlands alone and the sea wrap me around. The sea, ah, the sea, for me it is all, and it massively sweeps from the worlds apart. It smiles in the morn to my soul is a call, and when in the evening my fate seems to pall, it breathes with its sadness an echo to my heart. By night and Achenem, when translucent it glows, all spangled over with its millions of lights, and the bright sky above resplendent shows, while the waves with their sight tell of their woes, tales that are lost as they roll to the heights. They tell the world when the first dawn broke, and the sunlight over their surface played, when thousands of beings from nothingness woke, to people the depths and the heights to cloak, wherever its life-giving kiss was laid. But when in the night the wild winds awake, and the waves in their fury begin to leap, through the air rush the cries that my mind shake, voices that pray, songs and moans that partake of laments from the souls sunk down in the deep. Then from their heights the mountain groan, and the trees shiver tremulous from great unto least. The groves rustle plaintive, and the herds utter moan, for they say that the ghosts of the folk that are gone are calling them down to their death's merry feast. In terror and confusion whispers the night, while blue and green flames flit over the deep, but calm reigns again with the morning's light, and soon the bold fisherman comes into sight, and his bark rushes on, and the waves sink to sleep. So onward glide the days in my lonely abode, driven forth from the world where once I was known. I muse over the fate upon me bestowed, a fragment forgotten that the moss will corrode, to hide from mankind the world in me shone. I live in the thought of the loved ones left, and of their names to my mind are born. Some have forsaken me, and some by death are reft, but now this all one, as though the past I drift, the past which from me can never be torn. For it is the friend that is with me always, that ever in sorrow keeps the faith in my soul, while through the still night it watches and prays, as here in my exile, in my one hut it stays, to strengthen my faith when doubts over me roll. That faith I keep, and I hope to see shine, the day when the idea prevails over might, when after the fray and death's slow decline, some other voice sounds far happier than mine, to raise the glad song of the triumph of right. I see the sky glow, refulgent and clear, as when it pours on me my first dear illusion. I feel the same wind kiss my forehead sear, and the fire is the same that is burning me here, to stir up youth's blood in boiling confusion. I breathe here the winds that perchance have passed, over the fields and the rivers of my own natal shore, and mayhap they will bring on returning blast the sights that love being upon them has cast, messages sweet from the love I first bore. To see the same moon, all silvered as of yore, I feed the sad thoughts within me arise, the fond recollections of the troth we swore, of the field and the bower and the wide seashore, the blushes of joy with the silence and sighs. A butterfly seeking the flowers and the light of other lands dreaming of vaster extent. Scars a youth from home and love I took flight to wander upheeding, free from doubt of affright. So in foreign lands were my brightest days spent. And when like a languishing bird I was fain to the home of my fathers and my love to return, of a sudden the fierce tempest roar amain. So I saw my wings shattered and no home remain. My trust to others wrecks around me burn. Hurled out into exile from the land I adore, my future all dark and no refuge to seek, my roseate dreams hover round me once more, sole treasures of all that life to be bore, the fates of youth that with sincerity speak. But not as of old, full of life and of grace. Do you hold out hopes of undying reward? Sadder I find you on your loved face. Though still sincere, the pale lines trace the marks of the faith it is yours to guard. You offer now dreams, my gloom to appease, and the years of my youth again to disclose. So I thank you, O storm, and heaven-born breeze, that you knew of the hour my wild flight to ease, to cast me back down to the soil whence I rose. By the spreading beach, where the sands are soft and fine, at the foot of the mount in its mantle of green, I found a home in the pleasant grove's confine, in the shady woods, that peace and calmness divine, rest for the weary brain, and silence to my sorrow keen. Mi Retiro by Dr. Jose Rizal, an English translation.